So, what is something like? Because I was just talking to one of my partners about this morning, and I was like, dog, I feel like I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not great at one thing. And I think my fear of being great at one thing is what does success look like?
Good day, good people. This is the Holla the Truth podcast, brought to you by yours truly, Holla the Truth, giving you the truth for the future, the present, and the past. But I gotta ask, can you handle it? So you had touched on therapy. I remember when I first got into therapy, you was one of the people that I talked to, and I had mentioned it to, and it kind of threw you off, like you're telling people, because I guess at that moment you weren't too proud of being in therapy, and I remember telling you like, bro, embrace that, like you getting like the work is being done, and you don't even all the way understand that the work needs to be done. We're waiting till we're in our 30s and 40s and shit to go get therapy, and it's a lot of unlearning.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more unlearning than when you're in your early 20s. So why did you feel like that was something you weren't proud of?
I wouldn't even say that it wasn't something that I wasn't proud of. It just wasn't something that I was comfortable talking about at the time, like, cause it was a lot going on. So like when you brought it up to me, like, I grew up in a household where my dad didn't go to therapy, my uncles didn't go to therapy, not that I know of, and if they did, they didn't tell me. You know what I mean? Like I even to this day, like I have an uncle, like I go give him hugs because I have a his brother passed away, and I don't get to give him hugs no more. So like sometimes that's therapy for me. It's just like I just black men in my family didn't talk about therapy with other people. Like, yeah, you say, hey, I'm struggling, but you know, they didn't talk about like, oh, I'm going to see a therapist for this, I'm going to see a therapist for that. Like between you and my brothers, and just once I started opening it up to more of the black men in my family, like everybody's been super supportive. So at first I was just like, I'm going, and I was happy that I was going because I slowly started to get better and started to figure out where I was struggling at and what I could do for myself. But it just wasn't something that I talked about often. And just like, I definitely remember that day because you talked to me about that. And then that was the same, I think that was the same day that you
Talked about the gym.
talked about the gym too. So you definitely helped me to navigate a lot of that and realize that, you know what, nah, like the things that I'm doing are good for me, and they're like they're healthy, and they're
Big
things they're
accomplishments.
big accomplishments. Like
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, like I actually just recently had this conversation about how you were 21, 22 in therapy and downplaying everything that just happened. I guess you were in therapy because you lost the job and lost the gym, and was kind of in a funk about it. But I was like, bro, embrace that. You're 21, 22 talking about a failed business. Nigga, there's 40-year-olds ain't never even had the idea to start a business, or maybe have had the idea but didn't have the courage to start it. So I was thinking that was something to embrace, bro. A failed business at 21, 22 is a big accomplishment. It can seem like a failure, but if you look at it in retrospect, how many 21, 22 year old black men are running businesses?
I don't know. You know, I've never looked at the numbers for that, but I don't know. You'd probably be surprised at the number if you looked it up. But also at the same time, too, it was just really too like when I look back on it, I was mad at the world. Like like when people don't like loss is one thing, but like I was talking to my therapist about it. Like when you lose a business, like I don't have kids, but like I 16 hours a day, damn near 7 days a week. Like there were days where I took naps on the floor at the gym because I was that tired. Like it was it was something that I put my all into. Like my all. Like There were days where, if you didn't get up and do the things that you needed to do, there is no more business. So it was like, and it wasn't like the business shut down because I was just like, I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. It shut down because it was a first time thing. It was a first time thing for me. It was a first time thing for my brother. And we both, we realized that you need more of a team to really start a business than you think. Like, I remember I think it was the last year. The last year, I think we seen our first $20,000 month, and we were excited as hell about it because you get paid up front. Mm-hmm. So you see the $20,000 month. But what we didn't know is that month was hell, especially when it was just us two, because it was like constant training sessions over and over, and it felt like you didn't sleep and you were just up. So I think a lot of my frustration at that time was just due to the fact of, dog, I spent hella time doing this, and then all of a sudden it's like ripped away from me, and there's like, what, like, it feels like I can't do nothing to fix it. I mean, obviously, we can start over from square one and you know exactly what to do to get back there. But it was like, that shit broke me for a minute, like for a long time. It had me in a really bad space. And it just, it taught me how to just navigate failure. Because we look at failure as like, you fail one time, you're just complete
just
fuck
a
up.
Complete failure. Nah. Failing does not make you a failure.
Yeah, like I look at that shit now and I just be like, the next business venture that I do start, even if I do fail, is, you know what, I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it again until the one that I get to pans out. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, it was my first time in a really big loss like that, especially where it was like something that I put a lot of time and effort into. Like, I built a lot of connections. I did things that I was uncomfortable doing, speaking in front of groups, teaching people how to do stuff. People coming to me to ask me questions about what they supposed to be doing. In the back of my head, like, I know what they supposed to be doing. I know how to teach it to them, but I'm like, stop asking these fucking questions. I'm nervous. You motherfuckers make me nervous. You know what I mean? Like, it was a beautiful thing, but also at the same time too, it was a little bittersweet when you lose something you put a lot of time into. So I think at that time, when you told me to embrace it, it was just like, all right, you know what? I did do these things. I did accomplish these things. I am in therapy right now because I have a lot going on mentally, and I'm learning to navigate. But sometimes, we don't. It takes for other people to tell you that you're in a space of growing for you to realize that you're really in a space of growing. Because at that point, I felt like a fuck up. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I felt like a fuck up. I felt like I couldn't get the shit right. I felt like I was trying hard, and I wish I could have done multiple things better. Like even on the I had my older brother's best friend. I consider him my older brother as well, but he had to tell me that I was mad at my brother for me to even like realize that I was actually upset with him. Like, and I had to, sit down and talk to my therapist about it. I'm like, yo, I didn't even know I was upset with my brother until his best friend came and was like, yo, you're upset with him. And I'm like, no, like, we talked. And he was like, no, he's been blowing your phone up and you haven't been answering. I'm like, fuck. He was like, I call you one time, you answer, you have a whole conversation with me. So I was definitely mad at the world. And I think I was just I was mad at myself, but I was taking it out in the wrong spaces, and I wasn't giving myself my flowers for those things that I've done, those things that I've accomplished. And so I definitely do appreciate you for that one.
For sure.
Now I be telling everybody, no, I'm in therapy. Okay, I'm in therapy. I was a business owner. I'm gonna own another business eventually. I'm working up to it right now. I have some ideas in mind, but you need a little bit of bread when you start talking about starting a business.
Yeah, so I love that for you. Just from that conversation we had to now, how you're embracing the hell out of therapy and you are able to embrace what you considered a failure to be a failed attempt. Mm-hmm. We gonna keep growing. We gonna keep trying shit. I just had a conversation with one of my content creating friends, and they were talking about how they were trying to get this going for themselves, and if they don't do it this month or with this video, they don't know what. I said, you're gonna do another video, and then you're gonna do another one, and then you're gonna do another one until you get the results you're looking for. Like, it's not just give up because this one didn't work. Maybe that wasn't the one.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's a journey. Like, you have to get all of that shit. You have to fail to succeed.
Definitely.
Most people have to fail before they succeed. And it's good to get it out your system early. Shit, like you said, your brother set a blueprint for you. Now that failed business set a blueprint for your next successful business.
Definitely.
And that one's going to be better than that one. And if that one fails, then the next one's going to be better than that. So embracing that is definitely, that's also a stepping stone to being able to embrace those ideas and those failed attempts. They're not failures, they're failed attempts.
My bad. I got to add on to that. Just I have a saying that I forget. I think I read it in a book somewhere. But the things that you go through are not meant for you. So like now,
I just seen that somewhere, and I feel like that was today.
I forget what book I was reading. I think it was in a book, if I'm not mistaken. 99% sure it was in a book. I just can't remember what book I was reading, but I think that was the only thing that I took from it. The things that
I seen it in a book today. Oh my mama! What the fuck is that book called? I can't remember, but one of my friends gave it to me to read because she seen my book collection and was like, "Hey." But yeah, I just read that in a book. Now that you say that,
but needless to say, just like I look back on it now, and I'm just like, because I still work out, I still go to 24-hour fitness, and there are a lot of guys in there who train or who are becoming trainers, and now it's just like I love talking to them about where they're at and just giving them little bits of game, like even if they don't ask me for it, bro, go do this, go do this, go do this, so that way you can make your process a lot easier. And just like it's like I had to understand, like the things that you, like when I say the things that the things that you go through are not meant for you. Like, yes, obviously my first attempt at it was a fail. It was a fail. But
to an extent.
But just like, now I'm able to give back the stuff that I learned to somebody else who's in the same space that I was once in, and in hopes that they give that to somebody else. So needless to say, like
the blueprint.
It wasn't even now that I look at it, it wasn't even a failure. Like sitting down thinking it wasn't even a failure. It was just like we came, we saw, we conquered, and then we decided that it just wasn't the time for it. So I mean, there's other things out there you can do. I mean, that taught me a lot about life and just a lot about like you can put your all into something, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to pan out the way that you want it to pan out. Because in my mind, look, I wanted to open another one. I wanted to open another set of doors. I wanted to get a bigger space. I was trying to take it on one. Like,
so I think right now you be jumping.
Oh man,
because it's fitness. It's a fitness pandemic now.
Man, everybody back,
Yeah, everybody.
And also at the time we started it too, it was just a little. It was a little
COVID-ish still.
Yeah, COVID-ish, and people weren't really trying to spend money like that and things of that nature. So, dog, if we could do it over again, like I would. Never mind. Let me stop lying. I wouldn't do a gym because the back end is real hectic.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But no, it was definitely a learning moment, and I think that I've taken a lot from that. I'm still taking a lot of life lessons from it, like, just how to navigate through shit when shit hit the fan. Because I mean, it wasn't the first time that we had trials and tribulations with that, but that was just the worst one of them all. Like,
right.
Like I think we lost like $5,000 worth of clients in a matter of a week, and that was a hefty blow. Like when you think about it, like, it's a really hefty blow. So it was rough, but it like shit. I look back on it now and I'm just like, I loved every moment of it. I'll go through it again if it means I get to where I'm at now. So I loved every moment of it.
Claps. Yes. Definitely glad that you're embracing that and appreciating that. Like you said, it really wasn't a failure. You got something out of it. And you seen what you were supposed to get out of it. A lot of people go through things and they don't see what it was that they were supposed to get out of it. They just look at it as being a failure. Like, damn, I failed at this. So now what? Like I said, I ain't never really took nothing serious as far as like what I wanted to do financially for myself. And I could have said when, like, I love sports, I love football, that was my thing. Did I see me in the NFL? Not really, but I think that's probably why I didn't take that as serious as I could have. And I had some shortcomings from that. Like, just, and now to tie it back in, like looking at my son, I didn't have a dad out there to push me to do what I needed to do on the field to get to where I wanted to be. I can't say it was my dream, but it was a place that I was like, yeah, I want to, but I'm not going to work hard to do it. So now having a son and being in the places I was with everything, I know it takes a lot more than what I was doing to get anywhere close to where I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you have people in place for those moments. People like myself and other people to help you embrace what you're going through in those moments. I think we had that conversation because we needed to have that conversation. I don't think it was just a random coincidence. I think it was something you needed to hear at the time. It was unwarranted. I gave my unwarranted opinion and advice. Well, not advice, but my unwarranted opinion, which has backfired on me sometimes. But I'm glad that this time it was something that you could take from it. And you took what you were supposed to take from it.
Yeah. I mean, also at the same time too, I feel like I've learned that when things are said, they're said for a reason. So like you telling me that could just be God's way of saying like, hey, you need to hear this because right now you struggling.
Facts.
Like you struggling, so you need to hear it. And I think you were the first person to tell me, but after that, like I just like
Opened your ears.
yeah, it opened my ears, and then like I remember Chris told me,
Salinas.
yeah, and he was a big, he helped me through a lot. JB told me, so like after that, I just opened my ears and started hearing people say like, nah, dog, be proud of
Be
that.
proud
shit.
of that.
Like,
Oh God.
like
Yeah.
you be proud of it. So it's like sometimes like sometimes what you say to people, like even though it may have been unwarranted in your eyes, like maybe that was God's way. You were God's messenger for the day for me. So nah, definitely. Nah, I don't know how to explain it, but it was weird how it came out because then I had like I still think about that shit to this day. But like I actually have a question for you. You said something earlier. Just you said, I think if I'm not mistaken, you said you didn't go as hard, or you're a jack of all trades, not a master of any. Now, this is something that I know I've had an issue with recently. Do you fear the success that could possibly come with it?
I think that's been a thing. I talked to somebody else who's a jack of some trades too. And we had a conversation just randomly at the bowling alley that apparently it meant something because it stuck with me. But we both kind of agreed that it might have been our fear of success and not our fear of failure.
So, what is something like? Because I was just talking to my one of my partners about this morning, and I was like, dog, like I feel like I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not great at one thing, and I think my fear of being great at one thing is what does success look like? Like what it like you have an idea of like what it looks like, but then again it's like you don't know what it really looks like because we haven't been there before.
Facts.
So like it's almost like when you get a job paying more than what you've been making your entire life. Like, you sometimes you may not feel like you really deserve it, like imposter syndrome. Like you maybe feel like you don't deserve it, but at the end of the day, like you do. You worked hard, you're talented enough, you've done the job. So like I don't know, I heard that and it reminded me of earlier just having a conversation like if you are afraid of the success, what are some things that you think that you could do to break that habit? Like just saying fuck it. I mean,
Yeah. That was something me and my therapist kind of touched the surface on. I still haven't dug any deeper with that. I don't know what fear of success I have, how I act, or how it, like you said, how it looks. Like I haven't been there before, but I like to think of myself as someone that's done some fearless shit in his life. You know, at 18, I jumped states to come out here pretty much by myself. I had family and shit, but we didn't have no relationships from my first 18 years of life. So I like to think of myself as being fearless, but for some reason, success has always been one of those things that haunt me. Like, what does it look like? How will I respond to it? How do I stay who I am and still give what I need to give to the world? Would that be living in my true purpose? Like the music shit, I've done music for many years, and I always was a bit fearful of what success looked like. Like I wasn't the shows and shit that didn't fear me. Standing in front of thousands of people that wasn't scary to me. It started being more of the thoughts of being out in public and people knowing who I am. At this point, I still like I'm a F-list, entertainer out here, but it be places and people see me and they kind of like, is that him? And it's like, the fuck are you looking at? Like I'm ready to jump. I'm on bullshit, not knowing that they just kind of recognize me for some shit.
Yeah.
Or like just being recognized in general. Like I was at the store the other day and somebody was like, bro, you look hella familiar. Like, I feel like I know you from somewhere. But just like my reactions to people and like you see the shit celebrities have to go through. Mm-hmm. You can't even eat at IHOP. Can I get a picture? Can I? Like, what if it's one of those days and I'm not having the best day? Can I still give you a version of myself that doesn't taint my character or deteriorate what I've built? And also, even after you build this and get whatever you see as successful, what if it's gone? Like, sure. How do you live with that shit after it's gone, or if it's gone? Like, you go from being a millionaire to back trying to work a regular job. Like, how does that sit in you? And I think that's one of my that's one of the biggest fears is like, I'm bad with money. Mm-hmm. So what if it is all gone after a while? What do I do now? It's like, I've been down here. I wouldn't want to be back down here after I've been up there.
So I mean, but isn't that what comes like, and this is something I ask myself, like that's something that comes with it. Like you, obviously, like if you make millions, like they don't teach you how to keep it because it's your first time getting it. But like I think that's a question that we need to ask ourselves. Like, how do we use what we've made to help us in the long run? You know what I mean? Like, and that was my big thing. Like that's one of the bigger reasons I got into investing. So I started investing when I was like freshman year in college, like when I was 18. So I wanted to learn how to invest properly in the stock market. And then that just opened up a whole new world of like what other investments were. So like properties, things of that nature. But like, how do we use the money that we make to make money for you? Because like you can't, like, one day that one stream of income may be gone, especially if it's like, something like sports or something like that. You make money from sports. You can't be an athlete forever. I mean, you can, but like after that money dries up, like what did you do with that money? Because we think sometimes they say don't think too far in the future and focus on the present. But when it comes to having like your money and making sure that you're stable for the rest of your life, I think that's a big thing. Like, what investments can you make? What can I do with this money to help it so I can make more? Help me make more money. Like I don't know. I think that's a big thing too. Like, shit, that was one of my fears at one point in time. But I feel like I know a lot about investing now, and I have a good idea of what I will do when I do get to that point where it's like, all right, I'm making a little bit more money now, so this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? So just a little bit of food for thought because you definitely have had the success.
Yeah, I've had some minimal success. Some shit that I might be downplaying as well. I do got a Bay Area classic out there, but I didn't see the idea of success with that. Like, it was popular and people knew it and people kind of knew me from it, but it wasn't what I was looking at. I was looking for everybody to be running around yelling mustard. I feel like I have a household name. Well, it should be a household name. It's not right now, but that Holla the Truth tag is something I can hear people yelling. People love saying it.
Yeah.
Could have definitely been. Still a part of my goal list. It's still on my vision board to get that name out there in some fashion. I'm gonna have to dig deeper into what exactly I'm afraid of with success. But like I said, that's probably my biggest thing is if it's here and then it's not.
I mean, fuck it, you'll figure it out when you get there. You'll figure that out when you get there. Because, it's funny because this is another thing that I've learned too. Like, sometimes we put ourselves through shit that never happened.
Message!
So, like, you could stress about what's going to happen tomorrow.
That was one of them ones.
You could stress about what's going to happen tomorrow, but tomorrow comes and then it never happens. You didn't stressed about it already for no reason.
Right.
So, like, sometimes we put ourselves through shit mentally, and then we never end up going through it. But you just sat here and you stressed about it all day. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm a victim of it because I did it last night. I hit you. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm going to come on there tomorrow. And I spent all fucking night before. I couldn't even sleep last night because I'm like, fuck, what if I get on here and I say some stupid shit? But, like, sometimes it's just a matter of just, like, just understanding that you're going to go do it. And whatever happens, just happens. You know what I mean? Like, don't put yourself through it twice. You go through it once. If you make a mistake, you live with the mistake. You know what I mean? If I make a mistake, I'm going to go back, I'm going to look at it and be like, damn, my bad, I should have done this, or I wish I would have said this. And then we move on from it. You know what I mean? So don't put yourself through it twice.
Yeah, that's good advice. See, and I had mentioned that you can learn something from everybody. The saying is, even a broke clock is right twice a day. Mm-hmm. You can learn from any and everybody. It's something that somebody has for you. So, not saying that I shouldn't be learning from you, but it's appreciative that I can learn from somebody 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, we 10 years older than me.
You niggas with this age gap. It's all the bowling niggas too. All you bowling niggas with this age gap and this damn word.
But that shit was hilarious when it came out.
Yeah.
But
nonetheless, I do have my end all question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's one truth people have a hard time accepting about you?
I'm really a nice guy. Like, I'm really hella nice. Like, I've had people come up to me and say that I look like I'm mean or I look like I'm an asshole or they didn't know how I was going to be when they first started talking to me. I'm really hella nice. Like, I care about everybody. I love everybody. I want to see everybody do great, even if it's not at my table. Like, I just had a falling out with a partner of mine. Like, great friend of mine. Still love this person.
You know what your problem is? You don't know when it's time to get the hell up out of here.
Come on, Mark.
Okay,
Come
step.
on. No, you know what you need to do? You need to grow up, man. Grow up.
Grow up. That's right, man. Grow up's about this.
We just had a falling out. But just because me and him had a falling out doesn't mean that I don't want to see you eat.
Right.
I still want to see you eat. And here's a really crazy part about it. I've had people do and say fucked up shit, but you can still call me and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Because at one point in time in my life, you did mean something to me. And even if you don't, like, you still deserve to be, you're a human at the end of the day. You still deserve to be loved, respected, and, treated with respect. People fuck up. People make mistakes.
Look here, Tommy, man. You my boy, man. You my best friend. You like the brother I never had, man. What I'm trying to say is I ain't got nothing but love for you, Tommy, man.
I ain't got nothing but love for you too, man.
I'm not gonna hold that against nobody for any reason whatsoever. Like, I think one thing, if I had to say, was just like, I'm really a nice ass person. Like, I'm really genuine with the words that I say, and I've also learned that I'm gonna tell you when you got me fucked up too. So understand that comes with the territory of just my niceness and just like how much I'm willing to do for everybody. You know what I mean? Because I had my uncle tell me the other day, like, I didn't even realize it. We went to the Bahamas for New Year's, and I got on the boat. You know, there's people from other countries who work on the boats, but most of the ones that I seen on a daily basis knew them all by their name. So, and that's how I always respect them. Treat them with respect. Like, obviously they're here working, but that doesn't mean you treat them bad. Right. You still talk to them with respect. Still treat them with respect because they deserve to be respected. But like, I'm a really genuine person. I try to live my day being genuine and living by the golden rule, as they say, treat others the way you want to be treated. But yeah, no, I'm just a really genuine person. I think that's one thing people have a hard time accepting, because sometimes people don't. I think a lot of people think that I'm doing it because I want something in return. Like, I don't want nothing from anybody, because all the stuff that I'm gonna get, God is gonna give to me. Because it's because He either wants me to have it right there, or it's because I worked hard for it. But yeah, I'm a really genuine person, or at least that's how I feel.
Respect it. So I definitely want to let you know that I appreciate you for coming through, being vulnerable.
Yes, sir.
You dropped some gems for sure. No pun intended. Dropped a gem.
Yeah, it's going off my head.
You dropped a gem.
See, guess when you gotta say it a couple of times. I'm a little touched, just a little bit. Just a little bit. You gotta say it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, what
does that mean?
What does he mean by that?
Where's he going with this?
I don't know. Look, we go so many places with shit, bro. We don't know which way.
But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you. I give you flowers for showing up. Hopefully somebody takes heed to this and gets the help that they need, or they hear some shit that's gonna help them with some of these endeavors that we have to deal with as humans.
Yeah.
Everybody's path is different, but you can learn something from everything and everybody.
Definitely.
With that being said, this is the HollaTheTruth podcast, bringing you the truth for the future, the present, and the past. But I gotta ask, can you handle it?